Look here, CoinMarketCap, XRP sitting at around 37 cents. A lot to talk about today, guys. Oh my gosh, just super, super bullish on XRP today. Retweet if you're a bullish on XRP today. Yup, absolutely. Bearable Bull tweets out, if XRP is what is what we believe in, I expect to see it decouple soon. I agree with that because we got a lot of information to share today. So please stay to the end and like and subscribe if you enjoy the content, which I'm sure you will. So here we go. All right, look at here. Ripple tweets out, we're thrilled to announce that our on-demand liquidity ODL solution is expanding via our partnership with MFS Africa. Africa holds 70% of the world's $1 trillion mobile money value, and on-demand liquidity will further enhance digital payment rails across the continent. Digital payment rails. The rails have set. The plumbing is set down. Rails are set, and the train has left the station. And Ripple is absolutely everywhere, all over the world, reducing the friction of finance. Someone who is from Africa and they work in the U.S. Will be able to send money back to their family now with next to no fees. That's bringing incredible value to the situation, to the world of finance and just people's lives in general. The Block tweets out, Ripple publishes proposed guidelines for UK regulators. When you look at the past, what we've seen is that absent of a regulatory framework, what happens is providers will drive liquidity offshore, she said, referring to FTX headquarters in the Bahamas. While it provided its services globally, there is no separate mechanism for UK authorities like the Financial Conduct Authority to provide protection for consumers. See, FTX is teaching the regulators a bunch of lessons, or, where they set up by the powers that be to collapse so the regulators would have more power when it comes to creating regulation. It's up in the air. What do you think? Comment down below. Michael Branch tweets out, as Ripple Labs is getting an inch closer to victory against the SEC, the firm is preparing for a great launch in the next few days. Let's go, Ripple. Very bullish. Through this, there will be cheaper, faster, and more secure payments for small and medium-sized crypto firms and retail users, specifically for cross-border payments. XRP and XLM are the only two tokens that don't have yet, but will very soon have regulatory clarity to perform cross-border payments. No other cryptocurrency can handle all the money in the world, basically, other than these two tokens. Have the only infrastructure to be able to do it. It can uplift the economy of the UK and enhance social benefits and reputation on the world stage. Exactly, guys. It's only a matter of time. FX Heads tweets out, chart suggests the market could rally through mid-December. Jim Cramer says, CNBC. Oh no! Well, we all know, if you've tuned in to hear Elon Musk talk about Jim Cramer, and you've also just seen Jim Cramer's track record, there's an inverse correlation to Jim Cramer's predictions and what actually happens, as Elon Musk says right here.
But I think we're going to do okay. Jim, I think, recommended bear stones and Lehman and other things. So, frankly, he's a contraindicator.
About the people investing in
Jim Cramer in the 2008 financial crisis recommended Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns. Jim is a contraindicator. So what's that mean for the markets? I think for stocks, I think it's not looking good. This is not financial advice, by the way. None of this is financial advice. Stocks are not looking good. Stocks are actually looking like a crypto market during bad bearish times right now. And we've seen the bond market collapse. You look at the S&P 500 charts and then also the TLT chart. You'll see that it's just dropped off a cliff. High interest rates are happening, so people don't want to take out big loans to buy more houses. So what is actually left? Precious metals, gold, and other precious metals, which we'll talk about in a second here. And crypto. Not financial advice, but just crypto with real world utility, not in any of these pump and dump scams. Get your money out of pump and dump scams. and figure out what the big players are doing. Watch Guru tweets out, just in, MasterCard, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, all Ripple partners that I talked about in the last video, and others launch a 12-week experimental digital dollar pilot with the New York Fed. It is happening, guys. It is happening. Here you go, guys. This is what it's all about. In using a central bank digital dollar to speed up settlement time in currency markets, speed up settlement time in currency markets, they are saving themselves trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. And we won't see a penny of that unless you invest in a speculative asset that will have real world utility in a major way, right? That's the only way we're going to get a piece of this speed. This speed of settlement time doesn't matter for us, really. Like, you send money to someone across the world, yes, you want it to reach there on time, but you know, from a regular retail day-to-day kind of perspective, life's not going to change that much. It might become more efficient, and you know, it'd be faster, cheaper, but it's really the big banks that are going to have trillions and trillions of dollars of cost savings from speeding up settlement time. Get some common themes here. While many central banks are developing and considering developing retail central bank digital currencies, right? There's two kinds of central bank digital currencies: retail and wholesale, which are forms of digital money for use by public. Many are also testing wholesale CBDC, which are fiat money in token form for exchange among financial institutions to improve existing clearing and settlement process. This is where the real money is, right here. There's a lot of FUD and fear around retail central bank digital currencies, but just don't worry. Like, it, you know, especially you don't have anything to worry about if you're investing in a speculative asset that will become utilized in a very real world way. This is not financial advice at all, but you know, you definitely have nothing to worry about there. But even so, just you know, this might not even happen. There might be competitors to central bank digital currencies, other forms of currencies we can use. Hopefully, I hope this happens. If you have many suppliers, then the people have more power. But if you just have one supplier and one currency, then the government, you know, assumes full control. So, but this might not even happen, right? So there's nothing to worry about here, especially if you're putting a portion of your paycheck in a speculative asset that is likely to become utilized. But this is where the real money is: central bank digital currencies. It's all about, the pilot will test how banks using digital dollar tokens in a common database can help speed up payments. It's all about speeding up payments, speed up settlement time. Black Swan Capitalist tweets out, setting the stage for a new monetary reset. Central banks are creating the illusion of financial stability by faking liquidity in an illiquid market while accumulating large amounts of gold and silver for a price reevaluation. Price reevaluation. They're sucking on the gold and they're going to reevaluate something. Holy, this is insane. Position yourself accordingly. Absolutely. He's absolutely right. Credit Suisse claims we are witnessing the birth of a new world monetary order. Absolutely. The Bretton Woods system was established in 1944 as a global economic order, right? The world was so messed up, everyone's at war, and after the war, everyone comes together and creates this new monetary order. Since then, it changed shape and became known as a Bretton Woods II. Given the world's current situation, many question if we are entering the Bretton Woods III order, according to a new analyst by Credit Suisse. We are. Yeah, this is just absolutely fascinating. So what's this mean? What are the central banks doing? Gold Telegraph just tweets out, the world of crypto is almost like a movie at this point. Seriously, guys, it's like why watch Netflix? There's so much crazy stuff happening, and like, I know it's kind of heavy sometimes, but I think it's good to stay in tune at least until we've all secured our wealth. Meanwhile, central banks continue to stockpile gold at record speed. Tell me, what is the more significant theme right now? Central banks are taking huge unrealized losses but stockpiling gold. Why? Like, what do they know that we don't? They obviously know something, because those who control the money control the information, control the people. That's how it's always been for thousands of years. So what's this mean? risk-weighted assets definition and place in Basel III. So Basel III is a protocol. So all the central banks pretty much lower risk for assets like gold and other precious metals and commodities, but they increase assets in things like U.S. securities and loans. Well, depending on the loan, but basically watch this video.
The capital
this is pretty crazy.
Risk-weighted assets is a banking term that refers to a method of measuring the risk inherent in a bank's assets, which is typically its loan portfolio. Traditionally, the loan portfolio was added up in total, and the minimum capital requirement was calculated based on that number. The new capital calculation is based on the capital adequacy ratio as defined in accords published by the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision. Under this system, the bank's loan portfolio, along with other assets, are measured to determine their riskiness. The Basel Committee prefers this method because it makes it easier to compare banks from different countries and regions. It exposes and then includes off-balance sheet risks. And finally, it encourages banks to hold low-risk liquid assets. Riskier assets, such as unsecured loans, are given a higher weight than less risky collateralized loans, such as mortgages. The higher the risk of the asset, loan, the larger its value in the capital adequacy ratio. Banks also hold assets, such as U.S. government securities. Those are technically loans, but have a very low risk and thus do not count much, if any, in the ratio. The greater the amount of risky assets a bank has, the higher the capital adequacy ratio, and thus the higher the bank's capital requirements.
Right, so lower the ratio, increase gold. What's this mean? Maybe they're gonna back something with the gold and other commodities, other low risk commodities, right? Obviously our current debt system is not backed by anything. They can spend as much money as they want, but maybe they're gonna, back some sort of other currency with real assets, and people are gonna start flocking towards that asset because it's gonna have real purchasing power, and their current currency is just losing power every day, and things are getting more expensive to buy at every moment. Whew, that's a mouthful. Okay, Michael Burry Archive just tweets out. This is probably not the real Michael Burry, but long thought that the time for gold would be when crypto scandals merge into contagion. We see this word contagion in these next tweets, but Check News just tweets out, BC not planning to bring back that mandates. I remember the last time BC didn't plan on bringing back mandates. Yeah, a little, very interesting, very interesting. Trudeau bungee jumping, interesting. Oh, so well, the middle class is just like struggling with their interest payments. You're just jumping off, just jumping off. Ooh. Anyways, so I just wanted to show you the Bank of Canada website, and it's always good to just keep a check on the narratives, because we're hearing so much news about central bank digital currency, where in the Canadian news, really not hearing anything about central bank digital currencies. They're keeping it under wrap pretty well. But here's what they say on the Bank of Canada website. Changing times. The Bank of Canada is responsible for supplying banknotes to Canadians and for making sure there's confidence in the Canadian dollar. High interest rates and everybody having to actually pay back what they owe, that's bringing confidence to the dollar, sure is. To do this, we need to adapt to changes in the way Canadians pay for goods and services. Canadians are using cash less often, digital payments such as credit and debit cards more often, mobile payment options more frequently. The day may come, it's so weird the way they phrase it, it may come when Canadians can no longer readily use cash, or when an alternative private digital currency becomes widely adopted. That might be the tipping point when a CBDC could be needed. Wow. Cash, or when an alternative private digital currency becomes widely adopted. That's really interesting. So they need to compete with whatever currencies are coming into play and becoming available. Banknotes will continue to be available for Canadians when, if a central bank digital currency were to be introduced. Right. For a certain time, they'll run parallel with each other, and maybe they'll back the CBDC. Maybe they'll back it with gold because of Basel. Like, we just looked at Basel III. The Bank of Canada is sucking in all the gold, as much gold as possible, right? And so same with all the other central banks. And are they going to back something with it? I'm not sure. I guess we'll find out, but just good to be on your toes. Good to be on your toes. But this is definitely CBDCs. They're not the only market share for XRP. They're probably the second biggest thing XRP will be involved in, other than securities, which is by far the biggest. $2.4 quadrillion. Watch my other video. But this is like the second biggest market, so it's definitely good if you're holding XRP. Not financial advice, but it's important to put a portion. I'm not talking about going all in. I mean, you can if you've done enough research, but you're supposed to get a portion of your paycheck and invest in a speculative asset that could become utilized in a real world way and change everybody's lives forever. That's what you got to do if you want to be successful. For the most part, I'd say most people, right? There's people who have long successful careers, and that's great too. And some people have long successful careers and they know what to invest in. That's the ultimate combination. But you can even not have a long successful career. You could just have a regular job and you'd be giving a portion of your paycheck away, and it can seriously change your life, guys. Seriously change your life for the better. So in Canada, this is interesting. Ontario Pension says any loss from FTX investment to have limited impact. Sure, okay, it has limited impact, but what are you doing investing in FTX? What's the pension doing investing in FTX? Like, it's just absolutely crazy. $95 million of hard-earned Canadian money just like down the drain. Whatever, sure, it was only yeah, it was only 0.5% of the fund. Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. $95 million of hard-earned money is down the drain because they feel like they're forced to invest in these crazy these crazy organizations and projects because inflation is going so crazy. It's making everyone have to gamble with their money to retire. Like, if you're working till 65, you want to retire. Like, a lot of people are going back to work. This is just terrible.